Do you think it's possible to enjoy life fully without having shed tears and blood first? Kind of tough one. For my experience, I can't even remember how much blood and tears I've shed. Anyway, I'm kind of happy. So, for my experience, that sentence makes a lot of sense. And, well, in a way, unfortunately, life always teaches us lessons, gives us hints at what we need to look. And uh, usually, unfortunately, that's the unfortunate part, we don't listen. We don't see what we need to see. And then we slam our head on the floor and we bleed and we hurt. And eventually we learn. So, for many of us, I guess most of us, the learning curve is kind of like this. Until this one point when you face death, your own death or the death of a loved one, and you open your eyes like, I gotta change something. For me, I had a surgery on my wisdom teeth, something like 10 years ago. It didn't all go too well. Actually, I did end up in the hospital for about a week because I had an abscess of that size right under my eye. And, well, in the beginning, I was stubborn. I went to the doctor because it was a lot of pain. The doctor said, "No, everything's okay. You just like get more painkillers." He gave me the strongest painkillers you get in the pharmacy. So I went back home and said things didn't go well. Uh, See, the thing is, when you have some abscess right here, like a ball full of pus, uh, the pain is right next to your brain. So the painkillers, they don't act that fast. What happened? I was passing out from the opiates, but I still felt the pain because the opiates were running slower in my system than the pain was. Anyway, about like a good amount of days in, my sister came to visit. She's like, "Dude, you got to go to the doctor." I'm like, all right, here's a dentist in my road. Let's see what he says. And I sit in his chair, open my mouth, and he's like, "Whoa, dude, you got to go to the hospital right now. I don't touch any of this." So I'm like, okay, stubborn as fuck, to be honest. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna pay for a taxi. We're gonna take the train. Took me about an hour to get to the hospital. The last kilometer from the train station, I was walking, tears running down my cheeks. Things were intense. And I got there, and maybe you've been to the hospital before, but it took quite some time before I got assistance. And as I lay there on the table and they're just sucking out all the pus and blood out of my face, it made me think about life a little bit. Happened that the abscess was so close to my brain that they told me like a day more, it would have entered my brain and I would have died. Like literally. Finish. So like spent about a week in the hospital seeing so many, because I was in the district where they take care of people with face injuries. You see a lot of nasty stuff in there. And the food is really bad. All in all, it's a terrible experience. But in a way, my stubbornness got cured. Because I was like, okay, I was close to death. Maybe I gotta change something about my life. So I took my first yoga class. Before, I was like, no, yoga is for these like women and maybe gays, but not for a guy like me. I wasn't even manly at all. I was just a little boy thinking that's the way life is. Bullshit. So anyway, I went to my first yoga class, and I had one of the most amazing experiences in my whole life. And that moment, I was just like, the end of the class, I was laying there. My whole body was just like filled with amazingness. I was like, I'm gonna be an amazing yoga teacher. I gotta bring this to the world. That's kind of the reason why I'm talking to you, because I want to share this message. I want to share how beautiful life can be. Unfortunately, for me, all my learnings are right behind tears or blood, usually both. So, after my first yoga class, after the whole incident with my teeth and the hospital, I started rethinking life. I wanted to walk the path of yoga. Well, I was earning money, selling drugs, smoking all day, eating the most crappy food you could imagine. Mm. To be honest, I was living on the opposite life, on the opposite side of a healthy life, of a life that would get me away from hospitals. And it took quite a long time. I guess it's like 10 years now. Now I'm teaching. Now I eat healthy. I speak healthy. I think differently. It was a long process. Quite a lot of visits to the hospital. I got quite a few scars on my body telling me that, dude, you're still stubborn. You don't learn. Open your eyes, open your ears, just get it right. Every time I don't want to hear, every time I don't want to listen, life gets me really bad. So, what can you learn from that? Maybe nothing. Maybe you need to go through all these experiences to know how amazing life can be, how how wonderful things can be. Like, you probably have heard these stories from people passing near-death experiences. They all say, "Wow, this is amazing. Life's amazing. I've seen death, and life's better. Death is nothing to be scared of, but still, I'm gonna make this life I have incredible." And most of these guys and people, they change their life for better. They start serving, helping, sharing, and just make a fucking great life of what they have. And all the others, without this experience, we just live day by day, see our time passing, and we don't even take it to heart that this thing is beating every day, all day, keeping us alive. Just imagine a friend, she had a surgery the other day for her eyeball, was losing sight. So I heard that the process is kind of sketchy, like, because your eye needs to be open, so you can't be all knocked out. You're conscious, and they pull your eyeball out, and they're gonna just like make some things in there. Oof. Just imagine how much you appreciate seeing after that one. Just imagine how much you appreciate something that you might never would have had any longer. If you almost lost your life, your hearing, your sight, your smell, your taste, your best friend, your marriage, your kid. This point of losing, life showing you like, this is a warning. Be aware, watch out. We got the chance, like, all right, thanks for the warning. I'm gonna change my life. Like, I got this disease. I'm gonna get out of this disease, and I'm gonna go back to ease. I want to be healthy. Or it's just like, screw it. I go to the pharmacy, and they're gonna fix it up for me. The doctor is responsible for my body. He's gonna do it. And you screw yourself up. You're the one responsible for your life, for your body, for your relationships, for everything.